heard is named Allison Collins, and she, as you heard, calls using merit-based admissions racist and said it was Trumpian. Now, 59% of the Lowell student body is Asian American, as opposed to roughly 9% of Asian Americans in the state of California. Roughly 2% of the student body is black, as opposed to around 10% or so, 9% or so of the state of California. In fact, even less than that, maybe 6% now. And California is roughly, 30%, 35% white. And the student body campus at Lowell High is under that percentage. So the school board has now voted unanimously to move it to a lottery system from a merit-based system. I'm stunned that the Asian American families are putting up with this. Some years ago, this is how competitive getting into Lowell was. Chinese American students had to score higher than the Japanese American students, who in turn had to score higher than the Korean American students, who in turn had to score higher than the white students, who in turn had to score higher than the black students, or Asians or Hispanic students. I can't remember which one. But the ones, Hispanic and black students, got into Lowell with a lower test. And finally, Chinese American parents went to court and stopped it, and they did. And after that, the percentage of Asian students went up even higher. And that, of course, was unacceptable to these school board members that have now voted unanimously to change the admissions process from a merit-based one to a lottery.
When we talk about meritocracy, and especially meritocracy based on standardized testing, I'm just going to say it. In this day and age, we cannot mince words. Those are racist systems.
Wow. Standardized tests are racist system. This is why we went to standardized tests. Back in the old days, admission into universities was an old boys club. The idea was to do away with that. That's why we went to standardized exams. And now, because in her opinion, by the way, she happened to be a black female, in her opinion, the wrong mixture is in this school. Now we're changing the rules of admission. Can you imagine what the NCAA, what the NAACP, not NCAA, NAACP would say if the NBA suddenly decided to do that? You know, the fans are complaining. A lot of the college kids are complaining they can't get into the NBA because it's so dominated by black people. So we decided to go to a lottery to make it more racially diverse. Are you kidding me? What do you think the NAACP would say? You know, I'm looking at these stats over here for football. 70% of the players are black, whereas there are a lot of white college players, and they just don't seem to be able to make it to the NFL. And so we're going to go to a lottery system so we can achieve some sort of racial diversity. What do you think the reaction to that would be?
Well, if you're going to say that merit, is like fair, it's the antithesis of fair, and it's the antithesis of just.
It's the antithesis of fair and the antithesis of just. Candace Owens has talked about how the Nigerian American students often do far better on these standardized tests than American students do. If it's culturally biased, how do you explain that?
And so, you can't use equity, or you can't, talk about social justice and then say that you want to have a selective school that keeps certain kids out from the neighborhoods that you think are dangerous.
Yeah, keeping certain kids out who don't pass the exam.
Like, that's all kind of Trumpian language.